Behind every patient visit, every single diagnosis, and every treatment, there's this incredibly complex financial process that, well, keeps the lights on. We're talking about revenue cycle management, or RCM for short. Think of it as the hidden engine that really determines the financial health of any medical practice. So, how does this engine actually work? That's what we're going to decode today. First, we'll get into why RCM is so critical. Then, we'll map out the entire cycle step by step. And finally, we'll look at how the best practices are optimizing it all with some really smart strategies and powerful new tech.
All right, let's dive right in with a big question. Why does any of this matter so much? To put it simply, RCM is the bridge connecting excellent patient care to financial survival. And if that bridge is weak, well, even the best clinics out there would struggle to stay open.
So let me ask you this, and be honest. Is it possible your practice is accidentally losing money? For a lot of places, the answer is a definite yes. And honestly, it's not surprising. The sheer complexity of healthcare finance means revenue can just leak out from dozens of little places if you're not watching everything like a hawk. And here's the thing, it's so challenging because managing the money side of a practice is every bit as complex as the clinical side. Seriously, it's this maze of billing rules that are always changing, strict compliance regulations, and really tough collection challenges that can overwhelm even the most organized teams. Which brings us to a super important point. Revenue cycle management isn't just about mailing a bill. No way. It's the entire financial journey of a patient. From the very second they book an appointment to the moment their account balance finally hits zero. Okay, so to really get our heads around RCM, we've got to map out the whole process. Think of it like a production line, where every single step absolutely depends on the one that came right before it. And what's so interesting here is that the cycle actually starts before a patient even walks in the door, with pre-registration. From there, it moves to charge capture, which is basically translating services into billable codes, and then on to submitting the claim. Next up is posting the payment. Then comes the really critical stage, denial management. And finally, it all wraps up with patient collections. A breakdown at any one of these stages can mess up the entire flow of revenue. It's like a domino effect. Now, a really simple way to think about this is to split these jobs into two groups. You've got the front end, which is all about patient interaction, getting the right info from the very beginning. Then you have the back end, which is super data-driven and technical, all about coding, claims, and collecting payments. And just remember this, an error on the front end almost guarantees a problem on the back end. Okay, so this whole thing is obviously pretty complex. So what do you do about it? This brings us to the first major strategic choice a practice has to make. Do you manage all of this in-house, or do you outsource it to a team of dedicated experts? Let's look at the trade-offs here. If you keep billing in-house, you're looking at fixed costs, salaries, software, that kind of thing, but you have total control. Outsourcing, on the other hand, changes those costs to a variable percentage of what you actually collect. Plus, you get instant access to expert teams, the latest tech, and compliance specialists who literally live and breathe this stuff every single day. And the financial impact? It can be massive. Practices often report saving somewhere between 20 and 40% on their administrative costs after they outsource. Just think about that for a second. That's a huge amount of money that can be put right back into better technology, more staff, and at the end of the day, better patient care. But it's not just about saving money. It's about collecting more of it. Claim denials are a massive source of what we call revenue leakage. By outsourcing to specialists who know all the ins and outs of payer rules, practices often see those denial rates drop by 15% or even more. That means more money is collected right on the first try. Now, beyond the who of RCM, there's the how. And this is where it gets really interesting. The second huge strategy for optimization is technology. Modern automation is completely transforming the revenue cycle, moving it from a slow, manual, reactive process to a smart, proactive one. The difference between the old way and the new way is, well, it's night and day. Traditional RCM was just bogged down by endless manual data entry. It was slow and, of course, full of human errors. Automated RCM, on the other hand, uses intelligent workflows to check claims for errors before they're even submitted. This dramatically boosts speed and accuracy, and it frees up your team to handle the more complex stuff. And the tech that's driving this revolution is just incredibly powerful. We're talking artificial intelligence that can actually predict which claims might get denied, cloud platforms that give you real-time insights, and something called robotic process automation to handle thousands of repetitive tasks without a single mistake. It's a whole suite of tools working together. Let's zoom in on that RPA for a second. This technology uses these digital bots to take care of all the repetitive, rules-based tasks, like verifying a patient's insurance or tracking down the status of a claim. It's pretty much like having an army of perfect assistants working 24/7. And that lets your human team focus on what they do best, solving complex problems and helping patients. But of course, none of these strategies or fancy technologies matter if you can't measure their impact, right? To really manage the revenue cycle, you have to track the right data. And that's where key performance indicators, or KPIs, come into play. So the first one you got to know is the clean claim ratio. This basically measures what percentage of your claims get accepted on the very first try. The industry benchmark is a crazy high 98% or better. Hitting this number means your front-end processes are working perfectly, which prevents a ton of costly rework and delays down the line. Now, on the flip side, you've got the initial denial rate. Here, the goal is to be less than 5%. Why? Because every single denial represents delayed revenue and hours of extra work for your staff to fix it. Keeping this number as low as possible is absolutely essential for a healthy cash flow. And finally, we have days in accounts receivable, or AR. This just tells you, on average, how long it takes you to get paid after you've provided a service. The industry goal is to keep this under 30 days, because believe me, the longer that money is out there, the harder it is to collect. The real top-tier organizations often get this number down even closer to 25. To bring this all together, I want to share this really powerful thought from Thomas John, who's the CEO of Plutus Health. He said, "Broken revenue is never just a billing problem. It is a care problem." And that just perfectly captures it, right? It shows the deep, deep connection between a practice's financial health and its real mission, delivering amazing care. So I'll leave you with this one question to think about. How do you view your practice's revenue cycle management? Is it just another cost center, something to be minimized? Or is it a strategic investment in the long-term health and success of your entire organization? Because your answer to that, well, it will shape your financial future.